Hi, my name is Jerry Scott, and I'm here to give you your review of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which is brought to you by the WWE Smackdown Live Creative Team. Haha! It's not brought to you by the Raw Creative Team, thank God, because it would have sucked balls. Smackdown has been known to give you good quality content every week. Yes, they've had down shows here and there, but overall and consistently, they have been good. Elimination Chamber, gut feeling, it was okay. Did the Elimination Chamber match do good? Hells yes. Fantastic match. Was the rest of the card good? It was okay. There was gems there was gems in it, but overall the pay-per-view wasn't all that great. Oh, God, see, that's the problem. I keep thinking it wasn't overall. It's true. The pay-per-view as a whole was not great. It was good. It wasn't great. Between the Royal Rumble and this, it's hard to say the Royal Rumble was worse than this, because the Royal Rumble wasn't that bad, but SmackDown only had 2 matches. Raw pretty much booked all of the Royal Rumble, and all the emphasis was put in the Rumble match. Plus, the Rumble had some decent matches. I mean, the Universal title match was pretty damn good. The AJ Styles John Cena match was fantastic. The Rumble was like about 60-40. The 60 coming in mostly before, the last 6 entrants. But anyway, Elimination Chamber, you can only compare it to Fastlane. You can really only compare it to other exclusives. It's going to be pretty... It's very easy to do better than the Rumble was. It's going to be very hard to do worse than the Rumble. I mean, you'd have to try, because the Rumble was at least passable. It was actually good. Elimination Chamber was actually a pretty good pay-per-view. Wasn't a great pay-per-view. Wasn't a horrible pay-per-view. Wasn't really a bad. It was between middle of the road to good, meaning that you could watch it. I wouldn't recommend going out of your way to watch it. I would say you could watch the Elimination Chamber match. It was definitely a good match. Definitely match of the night. Guarantee it. So let's get into this. I want to make this as short as possible, because I know you guys don't want to sit down here on YouTube watching a 45 to 1 hour video talking about a pay-per-view you could watch, because why would you want to watch an hour long video to learn about a 3-hour long pay-per-view? Just saying. At the same time, I can give you quips and all that other bullshit, but, I can do that in less than an hour. So let's get into it. We're going to go over this as quickly as possible, because we want to get to the Chamber match, which is the important match of the entire night. First off, didn't watch the pre-show. I happened to catch Mojo Rawley versus Kurt Hawkins after it started, only because I was getting ready to watch the pay-per-view. I was like, oh, there's a match on. Woo! Mojo Rawley won. No one cares. Really. No one gives a fuck. Kurt Hawkins is complete crap. Useless. Not needed. Don't care. Do you care that Mojo won? No. Do I care that Mojo won? No. Does anyone care? No. Who cares? But we're showing a lot of caring for him. But if anybody was going to win, it should have been Mojo. So, props for him. Anyway, first match of the night, Becky Lynch versus Mickie James, to the first of 3 women's matches on the pay-per-view. First time there's ever been 3 women's matches on a pay-per-view, period. Just think of that. It took till 2017 SmackDown giving you 3 women's championships. Yeah, 3 women's championships. 3 women's matches. It took SmackDown in 2017. That's what it took. Raw likes to tote that, we had the first women's Hell in a Cell. We had the first women's Iron Man match. We had the first women's this. Yeah, well, SmackDown had 3 good women's matches tonight. Your move, Raw. Your move. You can barely give us 1 good women's match, let alone 3. Your move. Of the 3, this was the weakest of the 3, because obviously it has less. Well, actually, it doesn't, just to be honest with you. It doesn't have the least amount of build. It's the medium built women's storyline. There's always like the heavy women's storyline, which is not in fact the women's title match, and is also not this match. But Becky Lynch versus Mickie James, it started very slow. Mickie James does look fantastic for her age and for as long as she's been away from the ring. No real major spots in this. Was more of a very technical match. But Becky wins with a roll-up on Mickie James for the win. Like I said, this match of the three, this is probably the worst. Using the word worst is probably a little strong. Was probably the lower of the three matches for the women. That doesn't mean that was bad. It was actually better than a couple other matches on the card. So, but with that being said, yeah. This was better than a couple matches on the card. So, but it was not. It was the worst of the three. Just so we're aware of that. I'm not going to acknowledge the James Ellsworth thing because they went back to him every time after a women's match. I don't fucking care because it's James Ellsworth, and Carmella up, and who cares? It doesn't matter. Next we have Apollo Crews and Kalisto versus crazy chill. It's Apollo Crews and Kalisto versus Dolph Ziggler in a handicap match. Ziggler actually attacked Kalisto before the match started. I figured this would happen backstage, but it didn't. It happened as he came out. Turned into a one-on-one match. Crews and Ziggler had quite a bit of back and forth going on. He hit Ziggler with a violent enziguri right under the chin. It looked painful, I can tell you that. And then he also hit a spinning powerbomb on Ziggler to get the win after Kalisto eventually came. Because, like I said, this started as a one-on-one match. Kalisto eventually, like as expected, did come out, did help Crews get a second win. Help him get a second win. Eventually, Crews got the pinfall. Ziggler attacked both of them after the match, attempted to break Crews' ankle with a chair. He might get written off for a couple weeks. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Probably the worst match of the night. Not of any fault of Ziggler's or Apollo Crews'. They both did pretty good work. It's just this storyline doesn't really have much weight to it. It's more or less just to get Ziggler over as a heel, and I'm pretty confident he's considered a heel. He's not getting cheered anymore. So it is what it is. This of all the matches, this is going to be the lowest on the card as far as overall presentation and all that other bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, Ziggler and Crews did actually really great work in the ring, but in the grand scheme of things, this match was complete throwaway. This is 100% pre-show match, but it made it on the main show. But it's nice to see Crews getting a push, and hopefully he'll get a little more push after this. Next was the tag team turmoil match. One team enters. Well, two teams start. Every team gets a pinfall, and then another one comes out, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting a little irritated with these multi-tag team things going on, but, I mean, what else is Smackdown going to do? They have one dominant team, which is American Alpha. The closest team they have to that is the Usos, and the closest team they have to them, based on how this match played out, is Slater and Rhino. Other than that, you have three jobber teams, so it's like you have one invalid team and you have two viable teams and three jobber teams. Doesn't really produce much of a fucking division, but it is what it is. Breezango and Rhino and Slater started the match. Slater and Rhino pinned Breezango after a gore. Then the Vaudevillains came out. This is probably the longest match they've had since they had their match with Enzo and Cass way back before the brand split. They were actually in this match for a minute. Well, yeah, it was actually a few minutes, actually, but this is the first time they've had a match in a long time. I actually didn't think they knew how to wrestle. I figured they forgot how to do tag team wrestling, honestly. Slater hits an elevated DDT to Aiden English to pin the Vaudevillains. I mean, they still got jobbed, but they at least they actually tagged each other in and out. Anyway, Usos came out next. They made relatively quick work of Slater and Rhino after a super kick to Slater for a pin. Then we got American Alpha, the matchup we were wanting to see a couple months ago. Backlash. Well, not Backlash, but what pay-per-view was No Mercy? That's right. This is the matchup we were wanting to see. No Mercy. We didn't get it just because of reasoning. But But this portion of the match went a little bit. Usos ended up succumbing to American Alpha after after Gable got a roll up. After this section of the match, Usos destroyed American Alpha, just completely decimated them. And, you know, in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe the Revival will show up. Wishful thinking on my end. Ignore me. So, anyway, Usos attack American Alpha and then follow out the Ascension. I actually was not expecting the Ascension. Well, okay, I was expecting the Ascension, but that's not my point. I was expecting... This is probably the biggest gripe I had the entire night. The Usos pretty much decimated American Alpha. The Ascension have been able to walk in there, make sure to take out Gable, who was already on the outside, go in there, give Jordan their finisher, whatever the hell it is, and picked up the easiest 1-2-3 possible, which would have got them so much heat. Well, not so much, but because American Alpha isn't over that much to where it's like, what the fuck? But it would get them a considerable amount of heel heat. But they didn't do that. They stalled. They fucking didn't do anything. They finally did do it, giving Gable enough time to break up the pin, and then they just let them come back. And it's like, the fuck? I understand it's scripted. I don't need you to tell me that. But it just makes no logical sense. If this was a real situation, they would have went in there, boom, 1, 2, 3, and it would have been over. But it's not how they did it, so what the fuck? Anyway, American Alpha eventually wins after hitting a great amplitude. It was actually a pretty good match, surprisingly enough. They somehow make these multi-tag team matches passable. That's good booking right there. But they actually made the match passable, and it wasn't too bad. Ending was a little but it is what it is. Next we get Nikki versus Natty. This is the biggest grudge match of the three. This one has been stemming since Survivor Series, so this has got mileage on it, and it's not over. JBL actually took a shot at John Cena because Natalya was mocking Nikki, saying, "Oh, you can't see me and shit." And John said that Natty was mocking her because she can't wrestle when she was taunting her with John Cena's taunt, which was kind of amusing because he's indirectly saying John Cena can't wrestle, which is inadvertently a fucking punch at him, but maybe it's just me that notices these things, but it was kind of amusing. It was actually a fairly competitive match. I mean, there was a lot of, just segments where they just kind of beat up on each other. Submission holds, dirty tactics, shit like that. It was a pretty hard-hitting match for a women's match. It was pretty competitive. The ending was crap, only because I'm not a big fan of double countouts. But in this scenario, it actually works based on the storyline, since there's just been attack after attack after attack after backstage attack after backstage attack after backstage attack. It's just constantly all the goddamn time. So a double countout really doesn't completely destroy this. Usually you would prefer it, but in this situation, it's okay. I still would have preferred a pinfall victory here, or even a submission, or whatever, a DQ. A DQ would have worked better than a double countout today, but it's okay based on the situation, especially since Natty attacked Nikki backstage later. So this is nowhere near over, so I would expect some kind of... I'm expecting this not to end until Extreme Rules. Or does Smackdown get Extreme Rules? No, they're supposed to get Money in the Bank. I don't know. But either way, This is going to keep going. So at least until WrestleMania. It might actually get concluded at WrestleMania, but we don't know. Next, we got Orton and Harper. Same usual slow methodical match from Randy Orton as per usual. Luke Harper was being more agile, more athletic than he normally is. Obviously, he was doing this back when he was Intercontinental Champion, which for some reason, I believe it was probably JBL. Even though he was sitting there stating that, could you imagine what he could be and what he could do if he wasn't a member, if he wasn't getting controlled by Bray Wyatt? I mean, I would love to see what would happen there. even though we've seen it before. But whatever. So anyway, crowd was kind of mixed for Orton, but it was still more face. Let's see how that translates later. Orton hit Harper with a side body drop on the announcer's table. Didn't break, but it was a pretty nifty spot. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome." I don't know why. I don't know. I think the crowd does it when they're bored, or when they think it's when a unique spot happens. They tend to say, "Oh, this is awesome." One spot doesn't save a match. Sorry. The WrestleMania 32, when Shane jumped off the celly, that was a hell of a spot. It really was. Did it save the match? Fuck no. That match was still crap. I dare anybody to change my mind. I dare anybody to tell me differently. That match overall was bad. Did it have spots? Fuck yes it did. It had some hell of a bunch of spots. Exactly. Harper hit Orton with a pair of super kicks. Looked beautiful. One hit him square under the chin. Placed perfectly. Very, very close to count. Followed that up with a sit-up powerbomb, which was also another close to count. But overall, this match was pretty good. I would say if... I don't want to say it was the worst match, because it really wasn't. It was actually a pretty decent match. But, it was pretty much the worst match on the main card. If I'm going to include the Mojo Rawley match, then that match plus the Orton match were worse than the Mickie James match. Only because, well, I guess the Mickie James match and the Randy Orton match are probably on equal footing, so it's probably 50-50. You could take either or, it doesn't really matter. But the match was kind of expected. I mean, Orton's not going to lose the pay-per-view before the Rumble, or before the WrestleMania, because then him winning the Rumble means not a goddamn thing if this guy can beat him. So him winning is not surprising. Alright, and then we have Nikki versus Naomi for the Women's Championship. Naomi dominated most of the match, so I assumed Bliss was going to win. She goes for a Twisted Bliss, misses, knees to the stomach. Naomi does her one finisher off the corner. Ends up actually beating Alexa Bliss. Did not call that. Did not see that one coming. Did not think that was going to happen, but it did. And I mean, she got emotional after the match. But this right here proves that SmackDown is the land of opportunity. Because had SmackDown and Raw not split brands, I can guarantee you Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Becky Lynch, Slater and Rhino, the Wyatts. Who else? Dean being a two-time, is he a two-time? No. Well, I can't remember right now. Dean being an IC champion, The Miz being an extensive IC champion, Dolph Ziggler competing for a world championship, Baron Corbin competing for a world championship, AJ Styles being world champion for longer than 30 days. None of that shit would have happened on Raw. None of it. No, a goddamn one. AJ would have gotten the title if it was on if Raw and SmackDown and switch brands and they only had one world title. I guarantee he would have been the world champion. Not for 4 fucking months. Not with Roman fucking Reigns. Not with fucking Goldberg. Not with Lesnar. Not with Roman Reigns. Not with Seth Rollins. Not with Roman Reigns. Not with Roman Reigns. You would have... I know. Trust me. So, but anyway. So now we get to the main event. The main thing you're all worried about. The Elimination Chamber match. We have The Miz, Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, and John Cena, your WWE Champion. Miz, Corbin, Ambrose, Wyatt started in the pods. AJ and John Cena started in the match, which should have been expected based on the situation because it's AJ and John Cena. AJ proving he's the most over guy. Period. Gets the biggest chant. We're going to go through this bit by bit real quick because we're getting to 20 minutes, so you're already starting to get bored, so we want to get this done as quickly as possible. Anyway, Dean Ambrose, first one out of the pods. He's probably the one that uses the chamber the most. He was the first one to use it because AJ and Cena stayed in the ring the entire 5 minutes that they were by themselves. Does an elevated backdrop to AJ. He's the first one to get airborne and really hit the fucking cage, or not the cage, but the chamber itself. So he does an elbow drop to Cena from off the top of the pod. And before anybody else came out, they were all in the ring. AJ was trying to give AJ a suplex, but he was holding the ropes. Cena runs in, hits a very nice double suplex to both AJ and Dean Ambrose, which is actually real nice. And there was a nice little sequence right after that with AJ attempting, I believe, a Styles Clash, which then turns into Cena trying to do an AA, and he fucking spins him around, and AJ reverses that, and I believe hits him with a Pele kick or some. It was kind of hard to see, and Ambrose hitting his lunatic lariat. It was a very, very, very nice sequence that happened right there. Anywho, Bray Wyatt came out next. AJ attempts to go and hit him on the outside, and Wyatt literally just grabs him and throws him into the fence. It was fantastic. At this point, AJ and Cena start climbing the fucking wall of the cage for some reason. And they're trading blows until Cena actually drops halfway off the cell. Or, yeah, I keep saying cell. Dropping halfway off of the chamber and hitting the metal floor. He was there for a while, actually, after this happened. Actually, almost... And then, then there's more fighting going around. The new design of the chamber is squared off now. So they pull the glass doors out, and then they slide them back in, and then they lock the back door. There's actually plexiglass going up the back of the chamber and actually goes up to the top of the chamber. They were standing on top of one of the pods, him and Ambrose, and Ambrose is throwing him into the plexiglass that's on top of the pod that's on the outside of the chamber. I half expected it to break and AJ just fly out. I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? I was expecting something like that, but thankfully it didn't happen. But I was like, it's possible. But then once AJ's kind of got him to stop, he got Ambrose thrown in one time, and then fucking Ambrose smacked his fucking head off that, and it's just it was a blunt thud that you heard. It was like, fuck, dude. It's like potential concussion right there. Where was I? Corbin was next to come out, meaning The Miz would be the last one to come out. Corbin just lays waste to everybody. Ends up hitting an end of days on Styles. It hits one on Cena. Doesn't go for a pin on any of these guys. Nobody's gone for a pin yet. Corbin and Ambrose are trading throws into the wall. Ambrose would bounce him off the ropes, throw him into the chain link wall. It does it a second time. Corbin reverses it, throws him in a couple times. Eventually we get around to Corbin still doing his thing, comes back in, starts dominating. Then we finally get the last countdown for The Miz to come out, and Corbin's just sitting there waiting for him. He's like, come on, you coming out? And because The Miz is chickening out like a little puss ass, and he just kind of stands there. Ambrose manages to roll up Corbin, who wasn't paying attention. Corbin then proceeds to beat the shit. Oh yeah, Corbin was the first one to get pinned. Anyway, so after that, Corbin beats the living bejesus out of Ambrose. Hits him with an end of days. He threw him through the plexiglass. Sits there and just completely decimates him. Elbows him, elbows his head into the cage wall or the chain link wall or whatever. Throws him back in the ring. Hits him with an end of days. He then leaves the chain. Shit. He then hits him with an end of days in the ring. And then he finally leaves. And then, of course, The Miz, who's been standing here watching this and not moving from his cell or his little pod thing, finally comes in, pins Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is now out. So, you have Miz, Wyatt, AJ, and Cena left. Oh man, he then Miz hits his yes kicks on Cena and Wyatt, and proceeds to take over the match for a little bit. He then hits Wyatt. He ends up hitting Wyatt with a skull crushing finale on the steel floor. Although we'll get to this in a second. Around the same time. No, I just straight up skipped that. He goes in the ring and attempts to deal with Cena, and Cena gives in a quick AA. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye, Miz. So, all those rumors of Miz winning, thankfully, out the window. Anyway, then Wyatt and AJ proceed to team up on John Cena. Wyatt got up really quick from that skull-crushing finale, because this was within a 45-second to a minute and a half time frame from when he hit the skull crushing finale on Wyatt on the steel floor to when the Miz got eliminated. It was like about a minute and a half, and then Wyatt was like up and like beating up on John Cena. I was like, that was awfully quick, but whatever. Styles counters an AA into a Styles Clash, which came down to a relatively quick too, because the Styles Clash is not nowhere near as effective anymore. And then Cena eventually hits Styles with a pretty good AA and gets him for a close 2 count. There's some brawling back and forth. Cena hits a cross body off of the top of one of the pods to AJ and Bray Wyatt. I thought he was going to go for a pin after that, and he didn't. So then they get back up and they start brawling. And then Wyatt hits Cena with his sister Abigail for the 1, 2, 3. Crowd fucking blew its top. So for the rest of the match, you knew, guaranteed, you're getting a new champion. I love when they do that. I love when the champion gets pinned in a multi-man match early, because then you're guaranteed a new champion. And it's fucking fantastic. And it's like, oh. So yeah, Cena gets eliminated. So you have Wyatt and AJ Styles left, which you can't argue. You can't be mad at either decision. So either one's good. Anyway, so Wyatt pins John Cena, making this the 6th. I found this out before I did this. The 6th world title reign that John Cena has had that is less than 21 days, or 21 days or less. Is what I should say. So of his 16 that he now has, 6 of them are less than 21 days. This one being 21, which was about... So he's had 2 for 21, 1 for 20, 1 for 14, 1 for 10, and 1 for the same night. So, which was also in an Elimination Chamber. So the Elimination Chamber has not treated John Cena well. He's only won in 1 chamber match. So that left us with Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles. AJ hit a nasty blitz on Wyatt and then actually ate a hideous clothesline right after that. And then AJ really took it to Wyatt. Wyatt really was staying in this. Eventually, Wyatt reversed a phenomenal forearm into his sister Abigail, and you have a new WWE champion in Bray fucking Wyatt. That's right, Bray Wyatt is your new WWE champion, and it's great. We end the show with Randy Orton coming out on the stage, Bray Wyatt in the ring. There's your potential WrestleMania match. Of course, and then I happen to see a little bit of Talking Smack, and he said, Daniel Bryan saying, we don't know if that's going to be the match for WrestleMania. We could book anything. We could book something for tomorrow night, for Tuesday night. You just don't know yet. But that's our preliminary match for WrestleMania, and it should be interesting because I'd love to see Randy Orton really put over Bray Wyatt, make him a dominant force that he's needed to be for so goddamn long. So anyway, that is your Elimination Chamber review. I'm going to cut this under 30 minutes no matter what the fuck happens. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the review. Make sure to tune in Monday for the fucking Raw review. Make sure to turn in Tuesday for the Smackdown review. We're going to have some more gameplay video going up this week. I think we're going to throw we're gonna throw up something interesting, something a little more unique this week. So make sure you tune into the channel. All the information is down below for you to follow, and I will catch you on Monday for the Raw review. And I'll see you then. Go Bray Wyatt, yeah!